Yeah, this has always been home to me, and I think this will always be home to me. And so I have a lot of pride in Fargo and obviously Barnesville as well. And having all my friends and family everywhere in between is just like everyone can make it to the games and stuff. And so it's going to be fun. And running out of the tunnel, I think it'll be the first time in the FARGODOME will be emotional for me.
Jay Simon here for Flag Family Media. I'm here with defensive lineman Hunter Zenzen. How you doing today, Hunter?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. So, you started off your college career at Iowa State, linebacker there. You transferred to NDSU, switched to defensive end. How has that transition gone from linebacker to defensive end for the Bison?
It's been fun. It's a lot to learn, and I grew up playing defensive end, and life on the edge for me is a lot more comfortable, I feel like. So, in playing in this defense, there's a lot of room for me to succeed here. So,
what's it like going away to Ames? You grew up in Barnesville. Now you're back in the area, back where I would assume friends and family are. How nice is it going to be able to be playing locally with friends and family nearby?
Yeah, this has always been home to me, and I think this will always be home to me. And so I have a lot of pride in Fargo and obviously Barnesville as well. And having all my friends and family everywhere in between is just like everyone can make it to the games and stuff. And so it's going to be fun. And running out of the tunnel, I think it'll be the first time in the FARGODOME will be emotional for me, and to have all my friends and family there. So.
What made you decide, other than this obviously being home, which you kind of gave away, right, I think, your answer already, but what made you decide to come from Iowa State and go here to NDSU as opposed to maybe some other schools that were looking at you?
Yeah, I think when I decided that it was time to move on, NDSU was in my head and it was never leaving my head, and so I think it was just the right choice for me, and you know, I'm here for a reason now. So.
When you look back then on those couple years you spent down in Ames, is there certain things you can take away from that experience in Ames that you can bring not only with you here to Fargo, but maybe you can bring, because you are technically an upperclassman now, is there something you can bring from your time in Iowa State that you can apply here to NDSU or help further this program along? Yeah,
I think one of the things is that I learned a lot about not only football, I learned about a lot of life too. And so I think football, one of the greatest parallels is life. And so I learned a lot there. But one of the things that I brought here that I want guys to understand is not to take this stuff for granted, because really at the end of the day, it could be gone in the blink of an eye. And NDSU there's something built here that it's not everywhere. So.
What was it like, just kind of as a fan aspect here, what was it like being on the team at Iowa State and being able to go to across the state, play against Iowa, or go down to Oklahoma and be a part of the team in big-time venues like that? Because obviously NDSU's got a great venue, don't get me wrong. It's one of the loudest in the country. But there's something different about maybe going to University of Texas or University of Oklahoma when you've got 75 to 100,000 fans screaming. What was that atmosphere like for you?
Yeah, it was an experience of a lifetime, and not everybody gets to experience that. And so I'm forever grateful for the people in Ames that I still have connections with, and the coaches there. And you know, I'm not on bad terms with anybody, but going to those places it was so surreal, and just the things you see on social media, it was real life for me. And so going to all those places, it was super fun, and I'm just extremely blessed to have done that stuff. So.
What's it like getting to this school now and then also being on the same team as your brother?
It's super exciting for me. We grew up together, and so it was hard for me to leave home in the first place, which I'm glad I did, because it really opened my eyes on our relationship and how much home means to me. So.
When you look at this defensive line for North Dakota State, they've got a lot of talent. We talked to Jackson Dutenheffer during our time here today. Obviously, they've got the Mostert twins. You've got a lot of talent on that defensive line. Coach said they can rotate in 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. What's it like to be a part of a position group that is so deep and so talented?
Yeah, you said it best. All those guys are super talented, and to train with them in the off season and see how hard they work, I think I've taken a part of their work ethic and it being the standard, and just trying to elevate that standard as well. But it's just, I feel super fortunate to be able to work with those guys and learn with those guys and grow with them. So.
When you kind of compare your previous coaching staff you played with, the strength and conditioning coordinator there at Iowa State, Coach Kramer here is a legendary for his program. And we talked to Barika Penu. Since he came here as a freshman, he's put on like 11 pounds of muscle, he said. When you came here and started working out with Coach Kramer, was that something you were kind of prepared for, or was it kind of even more than you were expecting?
I would say it's hard to put into words, but like the lifting cultures are completely different. Here it's a lot of training and working with Coach Kramer himself, whereas at Iowa State, like, things were just different there.
So obviously everybody else that we've talked to, we talked about last season. For you as an outsider coming in and seeing how their season ended, would you say that this team is really using that last game as a chip on their shoulder, a motivational piece, or is there just enough of everybody here that is at the top of their game, iron sharpening iron, as they like to say, that that's enough motivation to kind of take this team to new heights?
I would say it's more iron sharpening iron right now. I think eventually when we start going places where we want to go and we can get to the point where we do look at how the season ended, I think we'll get there eventually, but right now we're just working on ourselves. So
now it's kind of I've asked the other guys, because some guys haven't had a chance to play at a big stadium. You open up the season at US Bank Stadium against Eastern Washington. For a lot of local players, it's a big deal. You've played in some huge college stadiums. I don't know if you've played in an NFL stadium yet. You might have played down in Irving or Arlington or whatever it is for the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. But how cool is it going to be to start off the season at US Bank Stadium, the home of the Vikings? I would assume you're probably a Vikings fan since you're from Barnesville.
Yes, I've actually played there 3 times already for state championships.
Of course, Barnesville, I know, yeah.
And so it's just going back there is it's different, and there's no stadium like US Bank Stadium really, and so going there and going there as a Bison is even more exciting. So
when it comes to kind of the specific local, very local Barnesville, right?
Yep.
So now that you're back, you know, you're commuting distance from Barnesville. It's like 20 minutes or something like that. Is there any part of you that's going to try and get back, if possible, on a Friday night to see how those Barnesville Trojans are doing and trying to get back to that state championship game?
For sure. I think if I can sneak away from here for a little bit and get to a game or two, I definitely want to. But obviously, my work here comes first, but I also do want to keep maintaining like an impact on the Barnesville program in any way that I can. And you know, if Coach Strand ever needs anything, he has my number, and we keep in contact a lot. And so if I could give any advice to those kids, I mean, I would love to. But
awesome. Well, Hunter, I want to thank you for your time. Everything is kind of wrapping up here today, so thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Best of luck on the field. We'll be watching you, and hopefully you and obviously your alma mater, the Trojans, will do well this year.
Thank you very much. Take care.
This is Jay Stemmen, been with Hunter Zenzen for NDSU football here at NDSU Bison Media Day.